The woman standing at the ranch gate had traveled nearly 200 miles with only a worn suitcase, a small Bible, and enough money to survive for 3 days. She had come west looking for one thing, a job. She never expected the wealthy cowboy who opened that gate would eventually offer her something far more precious than employment. Before we begin, if you love emotional Wild West stories about kindness, courage, and unexpected love, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us bring you more stories like this. Her name was Clara Bennett, and when she stepped down from the dusty stagecoach that morning, her boots were covered in road dust, and her heart was full of uncertainty. The driver pointed toward the largest ranch in the valley. "That's the Dawson place," he said. "If you're looking for work, try there." Clara looked toward the sprawling property. Golden fields stretched beneath the afternoon sun. Horses grazed behind wooden fences, and beyond them stood a large ranch house surrounded by cottonwood trees. She took a slow breath and walked toward the gate. Inside the ranch yard, Ethan Dawson was repairing a saddle when he noticed her. He was a tall, broad-shouldered cowboy in his early 30s, dressed simply despite owning one of the most successful cattle ranches in the territory. His workers often called him wealthy, but Ethan rarely acted like it. He worked beside his men, ate at the same table, and never asked anyone to do something he wouldn't do himself. Clara stopped several feet away. "Mr. Dawson?" Ethan looked up. "That depends who's asking." She swallowed her nervousness. "My name is Clara Bennett. I heard you might need another ranch hand." Ethan studied her carefully. Most women who came to his ranch were looking for domestic work, but Clara stood differently. Her dress was dusty, her sleeves were rolled up, and there was determination in her tired eyes. "You know anything about ranch work?" he asked. "Enough to learn." "Can you ride?" "Yes." "Handle horses?" "Yes." "Lift feed sacks?" Clara looked at the heavy sack beside the barn. "I can try." Ethan almost smiled. Instead, he pointed toward it. "Then don't tell me." "Show me." Clara walked over, bent down, and lifted the sack against her shoulder. It was heavier than she expected, but she refused to drop it. Ethan watched silently as she carried it across the yard. When she finally set it down, she was breathing hard. "I didn't say it would be easy," Ethan said. Clara wiped her forehead. "I didn't come because I thought it would be easy." Something in that answer stayed with him. He hired her before sunset. Clara would work for room, meals, and fair wages. Her first morning began before sunrise. She cleaned stalls, helped feed the horses, mended fences, and learned which cattle needed special attention. Some of the ranch hands doubted her, but Clara never complained. When she made mistakes, she learned. When she fell from a horse on her third day, she climbed back into the saddle before Ethan could reach her. "You could have been hurt," he warned. Clara looked at him and quietly answered, "I already know what it feels like to be afraid. I don't want fear deciding my life anymore." Ethan said nothing, but from that day forward, he began noticing her differently. He noticed how she always saved the smallest piece of bread for an old ranch dog. He noticed how she helped younger workers without being asked. He noticed that whenever someone was struggling, Clara was the first person beside them. She had arrived asking only for a job. Yet slowly, without either of them realizing it, she was becoming part of the place Ethan had once believed would always be lonely. Months passed, and Clara became one of the most dependable people on the Dawson Ranch. She could ride through rough terrain, repair simple fencing, calm frightened horses, and work from sunrise until sunset without asking for special treatment. But Ethan had begun noticing something else. Clara never spoke about her past. Whenever conversations turned toward family, she quietly found another task to do. One evening, a violent storm rolled across the valley. Rain hammered the roof while thunder shook the windows. The ranch hands rushed to secure the animals, and Clara ran toward the northern pasture when she heard that one of the young horses had broken through the fence. Ethan followed her. "Clara, wait!" But she kept running. Together they found the frightened horse tangled near a fallen tree. Clara approached slowly, whispering to it until it stopped struggling. Ethan cut the rope around its leg while Clara held its head steady. When they finally returned to the barn, Clara was soaked and trembling from exhaustion. Ethan handed her a dry blanket. "You don't have to prove anything anymore." Clara looked at him. "I wasn't proving anything." "Then why did you run into that storm?" She hesitated. "Because someone had to." Ethan looked away, understanding more than she had said. Later that night, he found her sitting alone on the porch. "You ever miss home?" he asked. Clara stared into the darkness. "I don't have one anymore." Ethan sat beside her but kept a respectful distance. "You could build another." She gave him a sad smile. "Maybe." "You already are." Clara turned toward him. Ethan continued, "This ranch isn't just mine. Every person who works here helps make it what it is." Her eyes softened, but she looked away. "You hired me because you needed workers. At first. And now?" Ethan was quiet for a moment. "Now I would notice if you weren't here." Those simple words touched something inside her. Clara had spent years believing she was temporary in every place she entered. Ethan was the first person who made her feel like her presence mattered. But their growing closeness did not go unnoticed. Some townspeople began whispering that Ethan was becoming too attached to his employee. Others said Clara had come to the ranch because she wanted his money. Clara overheard the rumors one afternoon outside the general store. She returned to the ranch and began packing her suitcase. She didn't want Ethan's kindness to become a source of gossip. Ethan found her near the barn. "What are you doing?" "Leaving." "Why?" "Because people are talking." Ethan stepped closer. "Let them." Clara shook her head. "I don't want your reputation damaged because of me." Ethan's voice softened. "Clara, my reputation doesn't matter nearly as much as you think." She looked at him with tears gathering in her eyes. "Then what does matter?" Ethan answered without hesitation. "You." Clara froze. Neither spoke for several seconds. The wind moved softly through the fields. Finally, Ethan said, "I don't want you staying because you need a paycheck. I want you staying because this place feels like home to you." Clara whispered, "And if it does?" Ethan smiled gently. "Then maybe we stop pretending you're just an employee." For the first time since arriving in the West, Clara allowed herself to believe she might belong somewhere. Months passed, and the ranch no longer felt like a place where Clara simply worked. It had become the home she never thought she would have. She had earned the respect of every ranch hand through long days, early mornings, and a willingness to do whatever needed to be done. Ethan watched her grow stronger, but he never rushed her or asked for anything in return. One quiet evening, as the sun painted the fields gold, Clara finally told him, "When I came here, I was only looking for a job. I never expected someone to see me as more than a woman who needed work." Ethan looked at her and smiled softly. "You never needed saving, Clara. You only needed someone willing to believe in you." Her eyes filled with tears because those were the words she had secretly needed to hear for years. A few weeks later, a powerful storm damaged part of the ranch fence, and everyone worked together to repair it. Clara stayed beside Ethan until the final post was secured. Exhausted and covered in dust, she laughed when Ethan jokingly said she worked harder than half the men he had hired. Then his expression became serious. He reached into his coat and pulled out a small silver pendant. "I don't want you to stay because you owe me anything," he said. "I want you to stay because this ranch feels different when you're here." Clara looked at the pendant, then at him. "And what exactly are you asking?" Ethan took a breath. "I'm asking if you'd let me build a life with you." For a moment, Clara said nothing. Then she smiled through her tears and accepted the pendant. "I came here looking for a place to work," she whispered. "But somehow, I found a place where I belong." Ethan gently took her hand as the evening breeze moved through the golden fields. Their love had not begun with promises or wealth. It had grown from kindness, patience, hard work, and trust. Clara had arrived at the ranch believing she needed a job to survive. Instead, she discovered a home, a future, and a man who valued her heart before anything else. And Ethan, who once believed his ranch was all he needed, finally understood that a beautiful home means nothing unless there is someone beside you to share it with.